For my entire life, I've wanted to go to Japan, and this year I finally did for 2 weeks. It was phenomenal. The best trip of my life. I can't wait to go back. And I think like any foreigner, there was a lot of ideas I had going into it, and Japan truly did change my perspective. So I'm going to share with you how Japan changed my perspective on their country as
an American.
So as I mentioned in a previous video that I just made about Japan, I'll link it up there. The honor systems in Japan are truly something to be admired and studied. I do not understand how they work because people could just leave their bikes unlocked on the side of the street, literally anywhere, and no one will touch them. No one will steal them. You know why? I think it's just because people like respect each other and their belongings. I'm not really sure. Share with me in the comments if you know, but this was something, honestly, I knew Japan is one of the safest countries, if not the safest in the world, but this was like a whole new level. Not to mention that there were stores that had zero attendance. Like there was a store that had like meals that were ready to be cooked. You just had to throw them like in the oven or microwave, and there was just a cash register. So I guess you could just do that. And it just really made me reflect as an American that things here are pretty intense. Another factor is that I looked up like the safest cities in Japan, and Tokyo and Osaka were the top two, which in the United States is just something that's unheard of. Big cities are usually related to like a lot of like crime or kind of sketchy activity. I know as someone from Portland, Oregon, it can be very scary to go out, especially at night. Whereas when I was in Tokyo, I knew Japan was quiet, but somehow even the biggest place known in Japan, like the most bustling area, is kind of calm and peaceful. And I think I've always kind of felt like out of my element being in the States, because everything's kind of aggressive. You can kind of get into altercations with people anytime. There's road rage everywhere. Like anywhere there's a highway, it's likely you can get into a honking match or a screaming match with someone on the road that's just absolutely unhinged and crazy. And I hate that. I've never felt like I connected with that. So I think it was just something to be praised that in Japan, everything was peaceful. And while there may be like some microaggressions that I picked up on just with some people, it was far better than someone getting up in your grill and, you know, trying to
tassel you or bring you to the rodeo.
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going insane. Other than that, I think something that was crazy was I also know that Japan is a fairly conservative country, but since it's not like as outward, you can't really, that's also another thing you don't really notice. The only way you might notice is the clothing. Like it's not kind of seen as good etiquette or good in general to wear very revealing clothing. I was there in peak heat, like it was 100-degree temperature, and people were still like slacks, button-ups, sometimes like an overshirt, and I'm just there in like shorts and a tank top, like, how are you? And it just, you know, it was, they just make it happen. It's just something that's just normal there. And I guess just what I'm trying to say is that my perspective going into it was that, you know, Japan's just kind of similar in some ways, whereas in the city life, like it's going to be loud and aggressive in its own ways. And I'm sure there's areas you can find, but Japan truly changed my perspective on that because it was just so safe and quiet and peaceful at night, at day, and at any time. And it's just something I hope I can get more of in my life, because it is really hard being around cities here where they're just hyper aggressive and crazy a lot of the time. So good job, Japan. That's you've changed this little American boy's heart. He's thinking of switching countries now. Anyway, yeah, that's just my little travel vlog YouTuber brain thought. Let me know if there's anything that you've thought about Japan that you could share. I would love to chat with you in the comments. And until I have another video, I will catch y'all next time, okay? Bye!